Hey, what's up? Can you hear me? And can you see me? Okay, cool. Because my preview doesn't look like it's working too well. Oh man. Wonder if I can watch myself on my phone and see what it looks like. Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it. I don't know. It's all just common sense stuff, really. How are my sound levels? Not too loud or too quiet, am I? I can't hear any of this shit, so. Nice. I hate pouring plates. It's like one of my least favorite things to do. So usually when I do a bunch at one time. I'll pour like 200 plates and then I'm good for a couple months. Alright, let me turn my microphone up just a little bit. How's that? Is that a little bit better? How's the video lag? Is it lagging at all? Does the video look good?
To one side of your camera.
This is a real B&H birthday story. We've been known for our customer service since 1970.
See how this
Looking good,
fucking.
Phil.
Okay, cool. It's not too bad. Looks good. Alright, I think I might have to go jet for a minute to talk to my chick. She's in Mexico right now. Gotta mute that. Mute this. Mute. There we go. Okay, that was weird. But yeah, I'm gonna be playing with some cultures today. These things are a little funky. This one here got a whole shit ton of bacteria on it, so we're gonna take some transfers away from that. This one's got some trichoderma. I probably should have transferred from that like a week ago. I don't know. I normally wouldn't even open this at this point, but tonight I'm going to for you guys, and then got a little bacteria on this plate too. So we're gonna play with all those, and then I'm just gonna do some regular transfers, and we're gonna talk about workflow. Because I definitely have a strategy on which one of these I'll work on first versus last. So that's kind of what we're gonna go into tonight. Is it still echoing now? Alright, I'm about to go call my... Okay, cool. Not yet. I'm about to get started here in a little bit. I gotta make a phone call real quick, so just hang tight. I'm letting people jump in. I'll probably start this honestly in about 20 minutes or so. I just want to let some people get in here. In bed? Where are you at? You're going to bed so early. No, I get it. It's Wednesday, right? I'm usually in bed by now, to be honest. I'm a morning person too. I'm usually up with the sunrise. Even if I go to bed at midnight, I'll still be up before the fucking sun comes up. I'll be back in just a couple minutes, guys. My girl's about to call me. She's on vacation in Mexico right now. Come back and then we'll do a little Q&A. We'll talk strategic workflow, and then we'll get into this. And I'll show you guys some. I don't know. We're just going to do some transfers today. We're going to take some stuff off some contaminated plates. We're going to make some master plates. We're going to subculture some plates that I'm going to put up for resale. So it's kind of what we're doing today, and here to answer any questions you guys have. So feel free to pop them in the chat. Yeah, I'm going to post this later. It'll be up on YouTube. Alright, guys. Sorry about that. What's going on? Excuse me. Give everybody a few to get in here. You guys still with me? If you guys are with me, say something in the chat there. Just waiting to get a few people in here and then I will get started. Hey, what's going on, Tim? Richard, what's up? What's up, Frost? Well, today I got some nasties. Got some nasty plates. A couple of these I would never even like normally touch at this point in the game because they're so far gone. But why not for YouTube, for you guys? I'll show you if I were going to do these how I would go about it, because you do have to think about a few things when you're dealing with contaminated plates, especially if you're trying to get clean transfers off of them. Like this guy right here, that's for sure the green monster trichoderma. That's already sporulated. And you can see all the green spores and shit on there. Normally I wouldn't even open this, but today I'm gonna open it and we're gonna transfer from it. But like all of this stuff though, we're gonna do last, and that kind of brings me to like my first topic, and that's workflow with Agar. You really got to think about, like today I've got a bunch of shit I got to do. I've got to transfer from those sequestered plates that I did my video on the other day. I'm going to make some transfers away from those to clean plates. I'm going to subculture some master plates and make some plates for sale. I'm going to subculture some tissue samples that have grown out. And then I'm going to work on the contaminated plates. And, you know, you got to think about this stuff because you always want to do your contaminated work last. Like, you never want to do that first if you have a bunch of other agar work to do. Because, you know, you're going to clean your whole surface, clean all your work area, and then you're going to open a contaminated plate, and then you don't want to like work on a bunch of clean shit after that. So that's just one thing to think about when you are working with Agar, is just a good workflow. Do all of your clean work first. So all of your clean cultures to clean plates, do those first. Then I would do like spore prints and spore swabs to plates. I would do that kind of stuff second, so that's not super sterile. And then I would do transferring contaminated plates to clean plates, in that order. And that just helps you maintain just a clean workspace. Excuse me guys, I'm just kind of getting over being fucking sick. I've been sick for like 2 weeks. Shit sucks. But So how many of you guys out there are doing your own agar work already? Like making your own plates, doing transfers? Let me know in the chat. Let's see here. Oh, can you guys hear me now? Is the audio back? Okay, cool. Connor, what do you mean by how long can you have an agar plate? Like how long will a culture stay good for? Or how long will like a clean agar plate stay viable for you to use after you pour it? I get a lot of questions about like how long to store, how long will a culture last. I'm gonna subculture this plate today. This is probably 4 or 5 months old. I don't store them in a fridge. I don't store them anywhere special. These things sit in a freaking drawer. Like it's fine. I've revived plates that are more than a year old. They take a little bit. Like you may have to make a couple transfers to get them back, but I've definitely done it. Like I said, this one's like 4 or 5 months old, and it should be fine. It's been well grown out. It's a little on the dry side, but it'll still grow mycelium. That stuff's incredibly resilient. Oh man. Gotta love people that try to tell me they're not a bot in the chat. I think that's the first sign that you're a bot. Yeah, you're welcome. I think people get really caught up in like, oh, how do I store my plates? How do I store my cultures? Like, mycelium doesn't give a shit. Like, that stuff is resilient. As long as you keep it clean, it'll stay viable for a really, really long time. Give me just a second. I gotta grab some paper towels and my alcohol and clean this place a little bit. So, one thing I always preach, be very generous with the ISO. I spray everything with this stuff. Don't be shy with it. Dry the bag on my table there. reason I'm using this on my flow hood here is because you always want to work in the middle of your hood. Let me see if I can switch cameras here. So you always want to work like in the middle area of your hood, right? You never want to work on the edges, because that's where all the turbulent air comes in, because this air flowing this way will suck contaminants in around the edges. So you always want to work in the center of your hood. And that's why if you're going to build a hood, like, this is the minimum size I would recommend. This is like 24 by 18 by 24 or something like that. 24 by 24. I'm honestly wishing I would have bought the 4 foot by 2 foot one. But it's okay, it works. But you always want to work in the center of your airflow. That's another really important key to doing agar work in front of a flow hood. I'll start getting into some still air box stuff. I haven't worked in the still air box in quite a while, but I'll make one and I'll do some videos on it soon. I'll have to kind of show you guys, because there's a little different technique when you're working in a still air box than when you're working in front of a flow hood. Recommendations on where to get agar plates. I gotta say, I would always recommend anything from Twisted Tree Nurseries. They make agar plates, they're dino soil agar plates or whatever, you know, they're doing there, but they always have really good quality stuff. Okay, how's that for volume? Is that better? Sorry, I'm just adjusting my mic a little bit. Okay, cool. Excuse me, guys. Alright, so first things first, I'm going to do my cleanest work first. So I'm going to pull some of these sequestered cultures that I did my video on the other day. Got some steel magnolia there. This is a good Makilla one. So these are the ones I did the trenching on, and I'm just going to pull some transfers off of these. And what I'll do is I'll pull one off of this, put them on this. This is water agar that I just poured. I tinted it a little bit teal just so I could see a little more contrast in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one little transfer off each of these, put it on these 5 plates here. And then next we're going to subculture some master plates and make more master plates. Yeah, the only thing I can say about working in a still air box, Tim, is that you gotta go slow. Your movements have to be really deliberate. I'll use Lysol in those things too, so I'll I'll work with the entire thing wet with ISO the whole time, and I'll spray Lysol in the air in the box, and that seems to help. I still get contamination working in front of a flow hood. I would say for every 100 plates I pour, I get 5 or 6 that are contaminated. And it's just usually like me not paying attention. Like, I don't know what the hell happened to this one. I don't know if I sneezed or what. There's some trichoderma on there. There's some bacteria on there. There's all kinds of shit on there. Like, normally this is another plate I would just chuck in the trash, but just to show you guys how to do it, I'm going to pull some transfers off this today. This is a spore plate of that leucistic hillbilly that I found, so I'm interested in, you know, maybe pulling those cultures off and growing them out and see what they look like, so. I keep my scalpels and all that stuff in alcohol. Yeah. Where are my gloves? Alright, I'm gonna turn this damn flow hood on. You guys have to let me know how the audio is once this thing kicks on. This thing's freaking loud. Can you guys still hear me good over that thing? Let me know in the chat. Hey, how's it going? Good, welcome. Happy to do it. How's the audio with the flow hood? Is it obnoxious? Alright, cool. We get lots of alcohol all the time. Let's go ice on this second. Yeah, this is a serious flow. It's got a big date blower in it. It's not a cheap flow. The first thing I'm going to do is just wipe down all my plates. Pull the grafting tape off of, get them ready to use. I can turn noise cancellation on, but it's going to muffle me a little bit. Let me see. Does that help with noise cancellation on? I've got like 2 levels on these mics. It sucks because I can't hear. I'm going to rely on you guys to let me know if it sounds good. Let's try one more. How about that? Does that help at all? I've been labeling it on the top now because I'll pull the grafting tape off and then my label goes and then I'll get shit mixed up. Excuse me guys. Just gonna put a mask on and I gotta put a mask on today. Normally I would put a mask on, but because I had a hard enough time hearing me. Alright. scalpel down here. Since I'm doing a bunch of transfers, I'm just gonna put a fresh blade on it. Never a bad idea. I use number 11 blades. They're just nice, precise, sharp tips, easy to work with. They're definitely my favorite for doing transfers. When you first pull your blade out, like, this thing's sterile, so just make sure you're not touching the actual blade. You don't have to flame sterilize it yet. Set it kind of to the side where it's not going to touch anything, you know. I just set it up on top of my plates like that. So that blade's sterile. It's good for your first transfer. After that, you really got to try, you know, sterilize everything. I just use a little torch. Or dab torch thing. Bruce, so I use both. I'll use my 90 mil plates for my master plates, right? I like to make a bunch of 60 mil plates for my grain spawn. Because one plate will do like 2 jars or 1 3-pound bag. So I'll just make a ton of 60 millimeter plates to put into grain spawn, but I'll make my master plates on 90s so I have more mycelium to make transfers from, if that makes sense to you. So I use both. Alright, so we're going to transfer this mycology. Now this was from the sequestered plates that I did that bacteria cleanup video on. Now, a couple things that I like to do when I'm making transfers. My culture plate, I start with upside down. I'll show you why in a little bit. Okay? Get these out of the way. Plate I'm transferring to, I put it to the right there. Thank you, Bruce. Appreciate that. Now the key to doing clean agar transfers is being fast but smooth, right? You want to keep the plate exposure to the air at a minimum. So you want to move quickly, but you also want to move smoothly, because your movements move the air around the plates, and that in turn can obviously push contaminants where you don't want them to go. So, alright. Now I'm going to take my sterile blade. Remember, this is sterile, just opened it brand new. Now the reason I like to start with my culture plates upside down is I can take this off, and now I don't have to figure out, okay, well, where the hell am I going to put the lid? You know, if I were to flip this over, right, and take this lid off, now I got the lid in this hand, and it's just a pain in the ass. Then I got to put the lid down. So I always flip the culture over. Now I will pull it straight up. I'm going to take this leading edge of the growth here, just a little bit. You don't need much. Go straight underneath of it, peel it up, kind of poke the edge of the scalpel right into the side of that transfer, and then I gently set it down, mycelium side up, put the lid back on it, that's it. It's just that easy. And now I will flame sterilize my blade. Next one. And I can't stress enough, man, just label it as soon as you make your transfers. I know you're like, oh, I do this shit all the time too. I'll throw them to the side and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna label them all when I'm done, and then I'll forget what's what. Just label it as soon as you can. So like I'm done with it. I'm gonna take my grafting tape and I'm gonna wrap it up. And I'm gonna label it. And then we're gonna repeat the process. I'll seal these back up later. So got some stormtrooper here. This is a cool strain. I like this strain a lot. Alright, same deal. Set it upside down. Put it into a transfer tube. Gonna set it to the side over here. And real quick, I'm just gonna pick it up. I'm gonna take very leading edge of growth here. That was really small. I'm just gonna drop that right in the center. That's it. Nice, quick, smooth. And then label it. Always label it. You get, alcohol. Every once in a while, just stop and clean your hands. It's always just a good idea to do. Nice. Let me know how that agar recipe works out for you, Daddy. Daddy mycology. So where's everybody from? Where you guys all at? Obviously I'm in New York. I'm an East Coaster. Although I spent like a decade on the West Coast in the weed industry. Florida. Yeah, my girl's from Florida, man. I was just in Sarasota for Christmas. Bruce, up or down doesn't really matter. I actually do both, to be quite honest with you. I don't really have a preference. No, Connor, these are the plates that I make. I don't buy my plates, I make my own. But if you're gonna buy some, get them from the Twisted Tree. They do good work. Like all their stuff's quality, and if it's fucked up and contaminated, they have really good customer service and they'll replace it. So not a lot of companies will do that. Alright, next, this is a Makilla 8 Cross. This is a cool culture. I actually like this one a lot. This one makes some interesting foods. So I'm gonna flame sterilize again between every move. Just flame sterilize. Try to get through these pretty quick, and then we'll get on to the next. And a lot of things, what I'll do, like if the blade's still hot, you can dip it in your clean plate, kind of cool it off real quick before you take the transfer. So let me just do it quick. Sorry. It'll be much. They don't always come off smooth, so you just gotta, like that one went mycelium side down prolific culture. If you guys are looking for something cool to grow, steel magnolias are awesome. They get massive too. I'll have some liquid culture available soon on my website. What else are you guys into besides mushrooms? What are your hobbies, interests, all that good kind of thing? Smooth is fast, fast is smooth. Yes, Daddy, these are 60mm plates I'm working with right now. I like 60mm plates. I think I get a little more mileage out of my Agar when I work with 60mm plates. Like I said, one of these 60mm plates, when it's fully done, like I can knock up 2 to 3 jars, or 1 to 2 big bags of spawn with one of these. So I pour a lot of 60mm plates. Like I said, I'll make my master plates out of my 90s, and then anything that's going into my grains, I make just a ton of 60mm plates. Yeah, I've got 2 mystery liquid culture syringes sitting here. I'm gonna do a contest on my Patreon. I'm gonna knock up a couple jars of spawn, and we're gonna guess. I have an idea. It's got to be between like 3 different strains that I have in a pretty regular rotation. So we're gonna play guess the mystery syringe, and the winner's gonna get, I don't know, like a bag of colonized spawn or something. Nice, Tim. I was in the weed industry for like a decade on the West Coast. I ran a big hydrocarbon extraction lab in Oregon for 10 years. So the bottom fell out of it, money-wise. Big money came in, bought it all up. There's no more money to be made in that business. So I'll be on live tomorrow with Edward Grand. I don't know if any of you guys are on his channel yet, but that guy's a little level up above me with mycology stuff. He actually studied organic chemistry and that kind of stuff. Me, I have an engineering background, but it's all computer engineering. Alright, so those are all the sequestered plates I took transfers from. We'll see how those grow out and do. Next, I've got some subcultures I gotta do. So I got this TWA. Yeah, Edward's awesome, man. I can't wait to be on with him and talk some shit. I like his candor too. That's going to be at noon tomorrow Eastern time. I'll be on Edward's show. So this is a master plate. It's a 90mm plate, right? Now I'm going to subculture a bunch of plates for resale. Check out my website if you want to culture TWA, so tidal wave, cross 8 albino Kawasaki. Yeah, I've been diving deeper on Ed's channel because I'm going to start breeding. That's one thing I really haven't done in mushrooms yet is breeding. I've been growing these things since I was in high school. I'm pushing, I'll be 48 in a couple of weeks. So, yeah, I've been growing mushrooms for a long time. But now I'm getting into really more scientific end of things. Breeding, looking for plant connections, monocarrion, dicarrion, all that kind of stuff. And Edward has been a huge resource for me. I love this stuff. Alright, so we're going to subculture this TWA. We're going to make, what's that, five plates right now? For this one. Now, because I'm going into the same plate over and over again, I don't usually flame sterilize my scalpel in between every transfer if I'm going into the same plate. Some people might argue that, but I don't really see the point in it. I just like to get this stuff done as quickly as possible. The less time you can have your plates open, the quicker you can get this work done, the cleaner it's going to be inherently. And I like to set my clean plates up on my right, my culture plate up on the left. Even though I'm working in a flow hood, like sometimes I'll even hold my breath when I do this. Square, triangle, it doesn't matter how you cut it. And that's why I'll make my master plates on 90s, because I'll get 20 or 30 more plates out of this. Always wrap the label. If you guys have any questions, feel free to fire them off. moisturizer. It works great. It really does. I don't really find an issue unless your dishes are dirty. The reason behind people say like don't let it get to the edge of the dish is because typically when you see contaminants on a plate, it comes in at the edge of the dish, maybe like a skin cell or something that's falling on as you're handling. You know, as we handle these things, like all of our hands are around the edges. So I think that's kind of why they say don't take transfers from the edge of the dish, but I think that's fine. As long as you don't see anything visibly nasty on your plate, I think you're just fine. I've done it 100,000 times and it's come out fine. Aha, what's up, guys? Yeah, Agar is super important. That's kind of why I've been going like down a rabbit hole with Agar on my channel, because I really think that's like the most important thing to learn. Other than that, because if you're not going to learn Agar, you're just going to be at the mercy of buying genetics from people, buying grains from people, buying fucking liquid cultures from people. And a lot of people out there don't even test their stuff. Like, there's so many shitty people out there that will just sell you anything to make a couple bucks. It's just always better when you can make it yourself. Go ahead and bring it back to like, I'll show you here real quick. So like this plate here, I don't know if you can see that, but there's this little tiny green speck of bacteria up there at the top. And as you can see, that came in, and there's another one right by that. It came in at the edge of the plate. So my guess is that that bacteria came from me opening and closing the plate. So you have a green spot and then the spot right above it, right next to that tuft of mycelium. That is bacteria. So we'll transfer away from this plate today because this is a multi-spore plate like that was just a pillar, so I'm definitely interested in all of that mycelium. What I'll probably do is take each of those chunks and just throw each one of those on a 90 ml plate and let it grow up together and food it, and feed them up from there. So I'm gonna take a few minutes over here, maybe answer some questions, drink a little bit of beer. But yeah, feel free to shoot some questions my way while we're sitting here. For like an hour already, jeez. Time goes fast. Alright, you know, let's transfer away from some of these contaminated plates. What the hell? That's what you guys are here for, right? before I do that, I'm gonna do this one. So this is an interesting plate. Let's see here. Let me switch my camera angle again. Sorry, guys. Boom. So this here is a very interesting plate because you can kind of see all the pins on this plate, right? And you can see how it's sectored, right? I've got some clear sector of rhizomorphic growth coming off here, right? We've got another clear sector coming off here. And then there's another sector right here, where if you look at it, that thing's full of little pins. So I'm going to actually take a transfer from that sector. Because I feel like, and I don't know, I could be wrong, but I feel like that's going to produce better than something from this sector that's not showing any pins on the plate at all. This is an old plate, this is like a 6-month-old plate. Yeah, Tim, that embedded bacteria is a bitch to get off. Sequestering and water agar. They make your agar drier too, because bacteria needs moisture to move. So the drier you can actually make your agar, the better off you're going to be when dealing with that embedded bacteria. Richard, so just because growth is wispy doesn't mean that it's a weak culture. That's such a, I don't know, just a broad subject there. I don't really know that there's a correct answer to that one. I've definitely noticed when because I work with a lot of olives, sometimes I'll just like, have so many damn strains I work with, like some will just sit in a box for a year before I touch them again. So I work with a lot of old cultures sometimes, not necessarily intentionally, but just kind of the way it works out. And I found it usually does take a transfer or two for the mycelium to kind of recover and get back to where it was before I let it go dormant in the drawer for a year. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So I'm going to take like 3 transfers of this Casper. I'm really trying to get this thing to produce. This Casper is a very strong strain, but I haven't been able to get it to give me any really good flushes. Kind of sporadic. And the fruits are all over the map. Like one flush will have like massive fruits, one flush will have like really tiny freaking fruits. So I'm kind of frustrated, but keep working with it. So I'm hoping that taking something off that sector with all the pins on the plate is an indicator that maybe that will give me a little bit better clusters. Again, I'm just going to dip that in there to cool it off. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to just go right into this chunk here that has all these clusters, this mycelium, all these pins. Right there. Go back in and take one more from the same area. Take the rest of these. Just for comparison, I'm going to pull one off this really rhizomorphic growth down here. And we're going to see what this one does too. checked out my Patreon yet, go check that out. I'm gonna be raffling off a microscope next month, and I'm doing a drawing for a pack of spores on the 15th, so that's coming up here in like a week, something like that. So make sure you go check out the Patreon. All you gotta do is become a free member to get entered into the spore giveaway. And I'll probably throw in like a couple agar hits too for the spores. Good night, Mind. Thanks for popping in, man. I'll be on with Edward tomorrow at noon on his channel. So if you're around, go check it out. Okay, so now we're gonna do some of these contaminated plates. I know you guys have been kind of waiting for this. So, the nasty nasties. All right. This one has very clearly sporulated. This one you have to worry about those spores flying up in the air when you open your plate. This one I'm going to do last. Okay. Bacteria doesn't have spores like mold. So if I open this plate up, I'm good. Shit's not going to blow everywhere except that spot of probably trichoderma right there on my finger. The first one we're going to do is just a liquid culture. There's a big old greasy nasty spot of bacteria. So this is the least contaminated plate, so I'm going to start with this one first, right? And I'll work my way to the dirtiest plate. Again, you know, agar is all about workflow too, especially if you're doing a bunch of different things. Working between clean and dirty cultures. Normally these other two plates I wouldn't even screw with. They're so far gone contaminated that I normally wouldn't even open them. I would throw them right in the trash. But just because I'm doing this for you guys, you can make transfers off those contaminated plates. Like that's what it's part of what agar is for. So you can clean up your cultures. So you can recognize contamination in your cultures and do something about it. One transfer from each of these plates, just to kind of show you guys how to do it. Now, I'm working in front of the flow hood, so I have air blowing at me this way, right? What I want to do is I want to have my contamination at the tail end of my airflow. That makes sense. I don't want clean air blowing contamination onto my clean culture, right? So, I want to make sure that the contamination is facing away from the hood. That makes sense. Versus natalensis, I'll take azarescence any day of the week. Mazzies are magical. I lived on the Oregon coast for a while. I lived in Oregon for 10 years. They used to grow wild in my neighborhood. Azarescence and cyanescence all day long. Don't even, like, cubes don't even come close. I wish I cultivate them here on the East Coast, but I can't. I can do allanized ovoids. Alright, so now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to transfer from the furthest part away from the bacteria, right? Bacteria's here. I'm going to make my transfer from here, but I want to make sure to keep it downwind. It doesn't really matter so much with bacteria, but with mold it would. So just take a piece from the furthest part away and drop it on my plate here. So that's it. Again, always transfer as far away from the bacteria as you can. Or contamination, I should say, whatever your contamination is. Always transfer from the furthest part away from it. This is Enigma. Now I will throw this in the trash. I won't do anything else with this. I got one transfer off, but this is a tissue sample from an Enigma clone. I'm doing the same one, just going in the garbage. Okay, next I'm going to take our second dirtiest plate, which is this one. Even though it looks way dirtier than the other one, I would consider this the second most dirty. This is just a bunch of bacteria. Now again, this one, because I do have some mold spores on here, I'm going to be really careful to keep that downwind of me. I'm going to make a transfer from this one and this one, put them on one plate. Let me see how that goes. Plate I just had in my hand, Jason, that's a multi-spore plate that just had a shoot ton of bacteria in it. Normally I would throw that right in the trash. I wouldn't do anything with it, but just for this live stream, I'm going to go ahead and transfer off these contaminated plates real quick. So, let's start with the plate upside down. Flip it over. With this mold downwind, right? I don't want this blowing into my big culture. I'm just going to subculture this here. Just a little bit, you don't need much. Put that back down. Put it on this side. I'm going to go in and grab one more off that same plate. Put it on the same plate. Trying to do some phenol hunting on this strain, and this is a multi-spore plate, so. And we're going to this one here. And now that plate will also go in the garbage. Alright, and now for the nasty fucker. Now this one I definitely like. Normally I would never even open this plate because it's so far back. I should have made a transfer from this thing when I first saw these specs. That's clearly just correlated. That's a big old nasty mold pile there. So this one gonna be really careful. So with these, like even just unwrapping the plate, moving the plate, anything like that, you want to be really, really careful and deliberate in your movements. You don't want to move too fast because you'll dislodge a lot of those spores. So, again, with spores downwind, I'm going to take a transfer way up here. Set that back. And that's that. And then this one is definitely going to go in the fucking trash. So you can do it. Normally, I would, like I said, I wouldn't even open that, but it can be done. Just be careful, especially if you see spores. So that's really it, man. Again, just be smooth, be quick. Make sure you label everything. Put an X on that. Sometimes if it's something I want to watch, if there's a plate I want to watch, I'll just put like a little X when I label it just to make sure like that one. I remember like, hey, take a peek at that one. Oh yeah, I wrapped that one up in trash because I don't want those fucking mold spores floating out of that plate in my work area. Like those things are vicious, man. I don't play when it comes to any kind of like trichoderma spores and shit like that. I'll do anything I can to mitigate that stuff being in the air in my workspace. Cause that's just a nightmare to get rid of. Alright, time to turn this annoying plug off. I bet you guys can hear me now, huh? Sorry, man, that thing's loud. Oh, man. What's shaking, guys? So, any questions on any of that? You guys just hanging out? It's like, I ain't got shit going on. My girlfriend's in Mexico, so. So I've been like blowing up the YouTube. I've had time to actually film stuff and do the video editing. It takes me hours to edit these videos sometimes. Yeah, Alan, yeah, you're welcome, man. Happy to do this kind of stuff. Yeah, Richard, normally I wouldn't even have opened that plate. That would have gone straight in the fucking trash. But I just did that for the live stream. Again, if I take tissue samples from a fruit, I'll take at least 3 or 4. just for that reason. If one contaminates, I throw it in the trash. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't want to ever open up that plate again if it's got a bunch of shit in it. So just, redundancy is another thing in this game. Don't ever take just like one tissue sample from a fruit you want to clone. Take like 3 or 4 or 5. I mean, it can't hurt. You know what I mean? You're already in there. You're already doing it. So I definitely recommend, always taking more than you think you're going to need. Tim, as far as like the drier agar, just step it up to like 2.5%, 3%. It gets real stiff real fast. It doesn't take much. I usually run like a 2%, but even like a 0.5% makes a big difference in how dry the agar is. So start there. Start with an extra 0.5% and go up from there. I do everything in percentages as far as agar goes. Nutrients I keep around between 1 to 3%, depending on what I'm trying to accomplish. Agar is usually 2 to 2.5%. I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna go puff on the bowl. I don't know if I can do that on YouTube Live. Okay, I'm back. Oh, excuse me, guys. Sorry. So what's everybody up to tonight? All right, well, I think people are dipping off. I might jump over onto the Discord and jump in, I don't know, voice channel or something like that. Yeah, if you guys want to continue to shoot the shit, just head over to Discord. I'll catch you guys there. All right. Peace. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining.